Just down this quiet lane is the subject of today's third-rate content. Keep watching. So welcome back to third-rate content. Yeah, today we're in Ludlow. We're not going to be doing the full Ludlow tour on today's video, but we're going to be investigating the abandoned churchyard of St Leonard's. It's a church. It's not the current graveyard of Ludlow, but it's the abandoned Victorian graveyard, and we're going to have a real good look around it and investigate it. So buckle up, and I'll see you out here. Yeah, as you can see, St Leonard's burial ground, Ludlow's parish cemetery, was first opened in 1824. But it was, this space was actually a medieval burgage before that, and it was held by Lawrence of Ludlow, who was the Lord of Stokesay Castle, which we did feature on a recent third-rate content video. Yeah, but this was his land, and Stokesay Castle is just 10 miles that way. Thy will be done. Thy will be done. Sarah, wife of probably Edward Jones, I imagine, around here, Sergeant at Arms, died June the 22nd, and we'll never know the exact date. Yeah, absolutely covered in liching. The graffiti of the natural world. But then saying that, I suppose graffiti is part of the natural world when you actually boil it down. I'm not condoning graffiti, by the way. It just pops up everywhere like liching. Yeah, and this one, it's got this sort of ribbon going around it. Rest in the Lord. Yeah, these marble tombs do seem to last a lot longer. I wonder if it was the same marble masons who made this, who made the Stokesay obelisk that was mistaken. If you remember, it was like 100 years out. Yeah, we're here today on May the 2nd, and as you can see, all the foliage and greenery, nettles and everything has really started to sort of take over. Not forgotten, Emma, you're not. George Jones, late of Jersey, who entered into rest January 8th, 1900, aged 70 years. And Sarah Jane, widow of the above, who died August the 19th, 1902, aged 69 years. I can't even make that one out. Yeah, the marble memorials do seem to last that much longer. You know, but marble or granite, you know, or just stone, at the end of the day, your memorial is going to have gone into the mist of time, just like your mortal body in the end, and return to its components. I find that quite a reassuring thought, actually. The silence of eternity waits for us all, just on the mortal plane. I'm sure something else happens after, though, or I'm hoping it does. Because the gravestones, the bookend, one of the bookends of our life, birth and death, and the memorial, they're all transient. Worm food thinks, breathes, reaches for the stars, and then of course stops to breathe and stops to think and becomes worm food once again. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. That is, of course, that's just looking at it purely materialistically. Spending time in graveyards does set you off thinking, especially abandoned Victorian graveyards. Spring passes and summer is born in the dead graveyard. It's just memorials and graves scattered throughout the undergrowth. You know, you need a machete to get at it all, but I think that's sort of the idea, is they've let these old kind of forgotten graves coexist with nature now. Yeah, this one is completely gone. Only partial remains. Not sure what it says. It looks a bit like text. This is a very grand one. In memory of Reverend Edward Algernon Barker, died January the 21st, 1894, aged 82 years. Good innings, Edward. Chapel arrest in the background. Overtaken by the lichen. Charlotte Joyce Taylor, eldest daughter of the late Major General Aldwell Taylor, entered into rest May the 19th, 1879. The former things are passed away. Yep, that's what happens in the end. What's this down here, look? Is this the stonemasons? Wet, is it Watkins, Corve Street? Perhaps an advertisement for a company that is probably deceased now. I don't know, we'll look it up. Monumental stonemasons. I wonder if they're still with us. And I wonder if it was them who made the terrible error at the church near Stokesay Castle. We'll look it up. Well, just stung my hand on a nettle, and there is absolutely loads here. Got to be careful in these old abandoned graveyards. Yeah, I was a bit mystified when we were at the last Sin Eater's graveyard in Rattling Hope. I was mystified about the broken the memorials under the yew tree. It's become apparent to me since making that video a few months ago, it was probably the roots that disrupted the memorials. Though today's visit has made that clear. But I mean, the roots grow and the memorials get cast to one side. Of course, nature always wins when there's nobody, no human to stick up for the things they've made. This angel's face has been, well, it's just not there now. Worn off over time. Edith Lallow, and her memorial has gone yellow. Yeah, really just before the outbreak of World War I. There are more memorials just lurking in the overgrowth. yeah, it's nice. There's benches dotted around the place, and so you can sit here. You can even have a picnic if you wanted to. And take in this really beautiful setting. Yeah, in the long term, some materials make for better long-standing memorials. You know, so I suppose, speaking very materially, you get more money's worth for the better quality materials if you want your memory to live on longer. But I mean, once your relatives, it depends how you look at it, because once your relatives are dead, your descendants, and nobody's coming to look at your grave anymore, you could say it doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter, it's irrelevant. But, you know, when people are coming filming it, the better the memorial, the longer your kind of memory, or not even memory, your name will live longer. You know, with people like me filming them. Because I do think of a Disney film. I think it was a Pixar Disney film. I've forgotten the name of it. It isn't one of my favourite films or anything, but it was the one about dead people. When they die, obviously they become sort of there's an afterlife, and they live in that. But when people in the material, you know, mortal world forget them, they fade away again and sort of die twice. So if that was real, I'm not saying it was, we're keeping some of these names alive a bit longer than they would have, perhaps. You know, something to think about. If you think I'm crazy, tell me in the comments. Yes, this section of the graveyard is well manicured and well sort of looked after. But then you go over here, things get a bit more sketchy, because there is graves going right over there. I think we will go try and have a look. Edward Morris, you may live on. Yeah, and this one had like a perimeter with a really fancy iron railings around it. They're long gone. I don't know if they got taken for the war effort, possibly. I don't know. Just an idea, but this one's the same. Or maybe they just broke off over time. Its little obelisk. The obelisk, though, it's a usual memorial for Freemasons, so I believe. Alfred Bennett's very fancy marble memorial. Looks like the actual obelisk, or whatever is here, maybe a cross. Oh, there it is, actually. Fell off, and there it is. It was a big one. I wouldn't wanted to have been standing there when that came down. Wow, that really would have hurt or killed you. Yeah, it does sort of look like that obelisk that's still in the quarry. I'm sure you can see the resemblance if you squint. In Egypt, I forgot exactly where in Egypt. Aswan, where the obelisk is still partially embedded in it, although it's embedded in nettles here at Ludlow. The once proud obelisk once pointed at the heavens. Now its form lies broken and shattered in the abandoned and dead graveyard. But small creatures take shelter, and life grows under the form of the broken obelisk. Life and death together, coexisting. But I'm not being blasé. But the way I see it, life, death, it's all the same, and it's all happening at the same time. You know, if you look all around you, getting a bit deep there, but that's sort of how I look at it all. And another fine marble memorial, Martin Joy Crofton McLaughlin, Born 1798 and died 1876. Yeah, I like this decoration on this one. Yeah, the bluebells of May. Yeah, here at the memorial of Ernest Tom, or the son of the person actually memorialised, there's some more iron railings. This is probably what them other ones would have been like, but they feel pretty solid. So I'm not sure how the other ones came off. In loving memory, Thomas Powell, who died February the 24th, 1876, aged 29 years, very young. In the midst of life, we are in death. How true. Because it's life, death, life, death, life, death, life, death. Light on, light off, light on, light off. That's the way it goes, in my opinion. Feels like I've lived thousands of times, but I don't remember any of the lives. It's just the way I look at it. Look down here, you can actually see a bit into the tomb. I've got a torch with me today. Just have to imagine what goes on down there. Of course, we got the ubiquitous yew tree here in the churchyard. Several. Charles Jabez Kane, almost getting buried here. Buried and buried. We're still keeping you going though, Charles. And he passed away at 82 years. Yeah, discarded and shattered under the yew tree. George Erwick Sanders. Yeah, more memorials strewn throughout the undergrowth. That one looks like it's out of a movie or something. Wow. Imagine looking at this at 3:30 AM on a full moon by yourself. Oh goodness, you thought that last one was bad. You can virtually see into that one. Wow. No hands coming out though, thankfully. Although it was Beltane yesterday. It's like the spring version of Halloween. I'm just being very general there, of course. Now, I don't like to repeat jokes, you know me, but there's a fun guy under these yew trees. And it's not third-rate content, LOL. Yeah, if it's a good joke, use it twice or 3 times. There's hardly anything left of this memorial, but what you can see is Watkins. And I think it said Watkins on that other memorial stone that I suspected was like a advertisement for the stonemason. Could be another clue here. Yes, scattered components of a memorial, which looks like a kit that you'd put together. But obviously it isn't put together. So it's dig your own grave and build your own headstone, keeping the costs down in the abandoned graveyard. Yeah, I like the way the yew tree branch kind of cascades like a sort of waterfall. If I'm being a bit fanciful there, but it does, kind of. Yeah, there's at least 4 yew trees in this grove. I think there might be more growing as well. It's like a yew tree nursery, basically. The sort of branches make more. Fascinating. Old life, there is new. And there's a mushroom on top of this memorial. I didn't put it here. It's not a magic one though. The fairy folk must have put it there for us. Yeah, there's almost like a radioactive hue to this tomb. To Jane, wife of John Nash. Looking onto Jesus, the author and punisher, that punisher of all faith, or finisher, or something. Yeah, this part of the graveyard is a lot more overgrown and not landscaped and not looked after. You just don't even know what you're walking on, really. Yeah, we're not going to be able to get this one's name out there into the public domain for prolonged memory. Yeah, I suspect there's stuff under this lichen and moss graves, but they've been really overgrown now. See what's underneath here. I think there's something. Is that a wild animals dwelling? Just here by these two very forgotten about memorial stones. Yeah, you know, fragments of a memorial and fragments of the memory of someone's mortal existence. See here the Church of St Leonard in the background, but this memorial has got interpretations of foliage on it here amongst the deepest foliage of this churchyard. Yeah, most people who visit this churchyard are not going to see that one, I don't think. Wow, that is either a fox's set, I would say, or a badger's set. Having been down one of life's a man-sized one of those.
I can't believe it was 12 months since I first went down there, but I'll leave a link to our visit in the description box.
On the Knight Templar video, leave a link to it on the description. That one was bigger, but that is a big hole. I don't think it leads to a Knight Templar Sanctuary though.
More's the pity.
Although the Knights Templar and Knights Hospitaller left their memories here in Ludlow, which we might see some of in the upcoming weeks. Yeah, more mystery holes. I don't know if the roots have sort of caused this to cave in, I'm not sure. Yeah, and this tombstone, grave, memorial. Ow, just stung myself on the nettles. It's sort of leaned over one side and you can sort of see underneath it. I can't see any bones in there though. Or Walker's crisp packets, vintage ones. Just remembering back to the Bellevue video we did last year and the much smaller abandoned graveyard on Bellevue Road. I'll leave another link to it in the descriptions. You've got the dove there, a Christian symbol. Yeah, and amongst all this foliage, there's another grave, 1870. I can't really make out what else it says. Let's look here. Wow, now that is creepy. Should we have a little look? Can you see anything? Because I can't. Yeah, I couldn't see anything then, and my hands were getting really stung by the nettles. So that image we'll have to do with it. But I don't think there was a skeleton down there anyway.
Curiosity's a heck of a thing, but I wouldn't have expected to see anything down there.
Yeah, I think this would have been the chapel of rest for the graveyard. But now, it looks like it's St Leonard's Press, whatever that is. Yeah, and on the gate, just going onto the main street here in Ludlow, we've got this very interesting stone face. This could have been from Lawrence of Ludlow's day, or around that time, I would imagine. It's not from the 1700s or the Victorian days, that's for sure. So that was the third-rate visit to St Leonard's Churchyard, the abandoned graveyard of Ludlow. And very interesting visit. I enjoyed it. I enjoy them all, as I always say. It's a bit of a cliche, third-rate cliche. But thanks for watching to the end. Hope you enjoyed, but you probably did somewhat enjoy if you're still watching now. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you want to keep up to date with third-rate goings on and show support for the channel. And I very much appreciate if you have subscribed already or if you're thinking about it. So thank you, and thanks in advance. But like I said, if I don't see you soon, I'll see you 3 times as soon. Third-rate content, signing out. Bye bye.